Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I am going to explain what discard is because you see me use it a lot. I mention it a lot and a lot of people keep asking me. Now, when you go to coat any kind of meat or anything, you sit there and most people use milk or eggs. Sometimes I used to use, well, I still do. I use buttermilk as well, yogurt if I want. So I have different ways of going. But what happens is that I have my cultures here. This is my liquid culture and this is my sponge culture. These are my sourdough cultures. I feed them every day, but we don't always eat all the bread. And these jars get really, really full. And I don't want to throw it out into the garden or throw it into the trash or down the drain. So what I do is, it's my excess actually. My discard is my excess. And what I do is I put it in this jar and I write on it culture discard. And what I do is instead of using egg, milk, or yogurt or buttermilk, I will use this to coat my meat. Now, on some recipes, I want a slight sour taste because this culture doesn't get fed. I just use it and put the excess in here. The cultures die, but they have that sourness to it that's good. So I'll add some into my muffins, I'll add them into my biscuits, I'll add them into a bread, but one way or another I'll change if they say 2 cups of milk, I might add a cup of my discard, depends upon how much I have, or maybe a fourth or a half, and make up the difference with the milk, and I'll get the 2 cups, and then I mix it together. But my discard is literally just my excess sourdough culture. Okay, so when you see it, if you don't have a discard, I understand if you're not making it, but you can use yogurt in place of it. And if you have a culture and you say, God, I've been throwing it away, you mean I can use it? Yes, you can use it. You make pancakes, you can use it, mix it with the milk that goes into the pancakes. You can mix the ratios up and add it into it. Now, when I do and use it as a batter to coat before I flour my steaks and stuff, most people will use, like I said, milk or egg or something. I'll use my discard and I whip the seasonings. One thing I have learned is do not sprinkle the meat if you're going to use this to coat your meat. You sit there and mix the seasonings into your discard, the amount you're going to use, and then toss it. As I found out, the discard does it, but then you get chunks of salt and pepper and seasonings, so you want it. That's why I use the fork and I beat it up to make sure it's thoroughly mixed. So when I pour it onto the meat or the fish or fowl or whatever I'm using, I coat it, I get that nice thick coat. Now, the beauty about this is when you use an egg or milk, it sort of drips off, right? And then you flour and you cook it. Well, discard doesn't do that. It sticks like glue, which I love. I mean, it really holds on to the meat. So when I go to flour it or I do the chicken, I get that crunchiness that I like, and that's why I use my discard, and I started sourdoughs. Now, people will say, well, when are you going to do this? I already did a culture a couple years ago, I think, but a lot of people have been asking me about it, so as soon as I can open the window, because we're going into the 40s, I will sit there and I'll make another culture, and we'll go through the steps, and I'll show you how to do it. Now, mine will not be a sourdough that's made with potatoes, or you let a yeast go sour, then you add more yeast and do it. No, that's not how I'm doing it. I'm going to be using flour and water. I'm going to be making the original sourdough culture, which these 2 are here. Okay, and though I'm making a new one, I just throw it in with those. Okay, but that's what the discard is, and it actually, and how to use it. Okay, I hope this helps you to understand when you hear me say discard, you know what I'm working with. Okay, so enjoy your day. Bye-bye.